Hey there, FakeFox here. Welcome to my update 37 overview. In this video I will discuss everything we as PvE healers need to know about the Scribes of Fate DLC and the accompanying base game update. As always, we start with the new content. Scribes of Fate brings two new 4-player dungeons, Scrivener's Fate and Balsunar. In my opinion, one of, if not the best dungeon DLCs. They are visually amazing and have lots of new and also unique mechanics. Both dungeons certainly can be challenging, but don't feel overly difficult to me and certainly not as chaotic and frustrating as some of the previous dungeons, stuff like Coral Airy. So I highly recommend playing them. In terms of new sets, there are three worth talking about. The first one is Apocryphal Inspiration, a medium armor set that permanently gives major fortitude, intellect, and endurance to the group, so the 30% recovery buffs. The issue with that is basically everyone has these buffs anyway from their potions. However, would that not be the case, would Apocryphal Inspiration be quite strong. So currently not a relevant set, but might be worth holding on to. Then we also got Rite Master's Bond, a light armor set. I'm just going to read you the tooltip here. Healing an ally within 12 meters with a direct heal creates a 15-meter tether between you for 10 seconds. This effect can occur every 15 seconds. You and allies touching the tether are healed for 981 health every second, scaling of the higher of your max magicka or stamina. If you or an ally is overhealed by the tether, they gain minor heroism for 1.5 seconds. This might sound interesting, but in reality it is just pretty damn weak. The effect is not permanently active, extremely position dependent, and needs to be constantly overhealing to keep the minor heroism active. And minor heroism in and of itself is already weaker than the effects of other Ultigen sets such as Belliger's Prophet, Drake's Rush, or Akarsa's Genius, and also has other sources in the CP and also potions. So this set is pretty much complete trash. And the final new set is the monster set Season the Inferno. With it equipped, healing someone buffs them minor vitality and overhealing buffs them 4272 armor, which is about 7% or so damage mitigation. I think this set is not bad. The damage mitigation should be noticeable in certain situations. However, with the 1 second effect duration, it is absolutely not going to be reliable, similar to how Gossamer works. I primarily see this set as useful in trials for trash and maybe some bosses if the incoming damage on the entire group is really that problematic. Maybe Type 1 Teleria hard mode, for example. But especially for bosses, it is a significant damage sacrifice, unless the group just does not need Symphony of Blades for some reason. Overall, not a bad monster set, and certainly worth collecting though. Let us next talk about the changes to existing gear. The mythic item Pearls of Elnafay was changed quite drastically. The resource threshold was increased from 30 to 50%, and the ultimate per proc was reduced from 5 to 3. Obviously, this is quite a drastic reduction of power, however, it is still really strong, and now so much easier to play that it can easily be kept up in pretty much any situation, making it potentially even better. This also changes group optimization a little bit. Previously, the trend, especially in high-end trial groups, was to not use Pearls of Elnafay on the Nightblade healer, as this resulted in unnecessarily high ultigen on that specific healer and less ultigen overall. But with the nerf, Pearls of Elnafay on Nightblade will probably become more popular again. And one more gear change. Spell and weapon damage jewelry glyphs now give both spell and weapon damage, so they are the exact same in that regard. In addition to that, the former spell damage glyphs now give 10 magicka recovery, and the former weapon damage glyphs 10 stamina recovery. This means no more changing enchantments based on group composition, which is certainly nice, and it's also a tiny sustain buff. That's it for the itemization, and now we move on to the class changes. Necromancer now gets 666 magic and stamina when enemies die, up from 200. This is a massive sustain boost in trash and also boss encounters with a lot of ads. Sustain is probably the least of Necromancer's problems though, but it's still a nice change in my opinion. No changes though for Dragon Knight, Nightblade, Sorcerer, Templar, or Warden. These are the fewest class changes we ever seen, I think. Because of that, I don't think we will see any significant changes to the healer meta either this patch, so Warden and Nightblade will continue to dominate. For the weapon lines, Elemental Susceptibility was slightly nerfed with a reduced tick rate, however the status effect does not get overwritten anymore, which is nice I guess. Wall of Frost now debuffs Minor Breach, which also gives us healers an easy way to apply it, and makes tactics less dependent on the tanks being able to apply it. For Templar, this means that Power of the Light is finally completely pointless though. I really hope we will see significant buffs to Templar's support with the Necrom chapter. And lastly, Vampire's Mistform has been reworked completely and is a teleport now, very similar to Sorcerer's Streak. Maybe nice to know if you want to use it for some sort of Kaita role maybe. And that is already it. The second very short update in a row. As always, if you have any further questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I hope to see you again to the next patch review. Thanks for watching and bye.